Welcome to KMTV. I'm Josie Hannett. Your top stories tonight. Police reveal footage of criminals' drone. Seawall repair ahead of schedule. And Dover jousters aim for the Olympics. But first this evening, a jury will visit the scene of the alleged murder of Roy Blackman when a man goes on trial at Maidstone Crown Court later this year. The visit to Heartsay Bungalow in Headcorn Road in Biddenden is expected to take place on the third day of Mark Love's 3-week trial, starting on September the 5th. Mr Blackman's naked body was found at the home by his daughter Nicola in March. He'd been bludgeoned to death. Love of Frittenden Road in Staplehurst denies murdering 73-year-old Mr Blackman. KMTV has obtained footage of the drone used by a father to smuggle banned items into prisons. Daniel Kelly was jailed for 14 months yesterday for what police say is the first case of its kind. This was the exact drone which cost around £700 that he used to supply inmates with tobacco and what was believed to be the former legal high spice. Officers downloaded data from the drone's SIM, which revealed it had made 8 flights to prisons on 6 occasions, including Elmley and Swaleside in Sheppey, Wandsworth in London and Mount in Hemel Hempstead. DS Richard Allingham, who worked on the case, says crimes using new technology are something police will be looking out for.
Technology moves forwards and that moves criminality forwards as well. I think working alongside the prisons, which we do, whilst we're acting proactively to investigate such offences, we are working alongside them for preventative measures to find out ways of stopping these incidents occurring.
Folkestone and Dover will be reconnected by rail in the autumn, months ahead of schedule. The line was closed due to storm damage on Christmas Eve, and initially it wasn't expected to reopen until December, which would have been a year on. But now Network Rail says the £39.8 million rebuilding project is ahead of schedule and it's working towards completing the project this autumn. The exact month has not yet been specified. Engineers are working to build the new 235-metre viaduct supported by 134 concrete columns. Now, you may have been enjoying Kent's heatwave this week, but did you remember to stay safe in the sun? Well, Kent County Council has released a guide on how to be healthy in hot weather, which has attracted, let's say, some criticism. Henry Sandercock has more.
Kent has been warmer than much of Europe in the past week, with temperatures soaring to well over 30 degrees. This has prompted Kent County Council to issue a guide to keeping safe in the heat, with suggestions ranging from listening to the weather forecast to going indoors or outdoors, depending on which feels cooler. However, the guide has been greeted with derision by some members of the council.
The vast majority of the population are quite intelligent enough to deal with the vagaries of the English climate. If it's too hot, they'll take measures. If it's too cold, they'll take measures. They really do not need a nanny state. We need to do away with trying to enforce loosely called lifestyle changes on people. People are intelligent enough to make their own decisions.
Graham Gibbons, KCC Cabinet Member for Adult Social Care and Public Health, said,
Kent County Council has a statutory responsibility to promote public health and help warn and inform the community during an incident. We appreciate that to many the advice might seem like common sense, but sadly the rise in hospital admissions for sunburn, heat stroke and dehydration has shown us that it could serve as a good reminder.
So, is the County Council's advice completely necessary? Well, we've come to Herne Bay to see what beachgoers think.
No, I think it's necessary advice, especially once it gets over, say, like 35 degrees C, anything over there, then you've got to take some sort of action, really.
I think it's the best idea because people don't ever listen to none of the advice that gets given, and it is the best idea to obviously wear hats, drink plenty of water.
Everyone knows about sun cream. We've been doing it with kids, even with our generation when 50 years ago, with having sun cream on and they don't get sunburn. Why is the health and safety people suddenly decided they'll take over our lives?
Common sense or not, we will just have to make sure that on warm days like today, we all keep safe from the sun. This is Henry Sandercock for KMTV in Herne Bay.
And finally, we're used to seeing all kinds of athletes at the Olympics. However, one day we may be seeing knights on horseback. And it's all because English Heritage is campaigning for jousting to be recognised as an equestrian sport in the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Joshua Coop went down to Dover to see what it was all about.
When you think of an Olympic sport, jousting may not be the first thing to come to mind, but that could be set to change as a campaign to introduce the 1,000-year-old sport in the world's biggest sporting event got underway at Dover Castle today. English Heritage think it's about time the sport was recognised.
This is definitely a real Olympic bid. It's something that we feel very passionately about at English Heritage. We have thousands and thousands of visitors flock to see our joust. It's our understanding that in Tokyo in 2020 they've put forward sports such as surfing, climbing, etc., even skateboarding. So we feel quite strongly that if skateboarding can be included, then why on earth not jousting?
Armour-clad knights went head-to-head in a joust, and there was even blacksmiths on hand to provide armour. Josh Davis is a professional blacksmith who came all the way from the United States to take part in the campaign. He says the production of all the custom-made armour is not exactly the easiest job.
The cuirass, which is the most important part, covering the breastplate. Then a helmet, shoulder guards, arms and gauntlets. To do all of those things, custom fit, 6 to 8 months, about work, so 8 to 10 hours a day, roughly.
So if it becomes an Olympic sport, you'll be keeping very busy then?
Very much so.
Campaigners hope it will be introduced from 2024. This is Joshua Coop for KMTV in Dover.
Well, that's it from us this evening. We'll be back again tomorrow with the latest stories from across Kent. In the meantime, don't forget you can keep up to date by listening to KMFM or logging on to kentonline.co.uk. And remember, you can always follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Have a great evening. Good night.